To the ripple effect of love for dads and families. I'm excited today as we talk about the power of presence, being fully there for our children. I'm Christine Bernard, stress management coach, and much more. I love to look at all the different aspects, whether they be on your emotional aspect, your mental aspect, your energetic aspect, physically, what's happening in your body that is telling you something needs to shift, and the energetic. Did I say that one? Or spiritual? So it's a 360 view and it's super important. So today, my first question for you is are what are your three biggest distractions that are pulling you away from your kids? There's always something that pulls us away from our kids. So, when you're in the same room, but are you really there with your beautiful children? I know there's a to-do list. There's so many. If you have excuses coming up, then you're at the right place. So, in today's fast paced world, true presence is rare. Have you ever talked to somebody on the phone and it feels like they're not there, that you're just talking to yourself? They're not present, or you can hear them click, 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 or you're on Zoom with them and you can see them, or you're with them in person and they're looking away, they're looking somewhere else. They're not focused on the conversation that we're having. And being present is one of the greatest gifts that we can give our children. So, how will we take a peek at this? Let me see. Let's start with the three biggest distractions that might be pulling you away from your children. Maybe there's something different for you, but I think smartphones and devices are one of the biggest ones in today's world. When we were young, maybe not. But now, it's the constant interruptions from phones and tablets and the other devices that can disrupt that interaction with you and your child, whether it's you that's distracted or your child that gets distracted because of this. And this phenomena is has a term, technoference. Have you ever heard of that? Technoference has been linked to reduced responsiveness to children's cues and increased behavioral issues in children. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought, right? Maybe you're aware of this, maybe you are not. So, what can you do? I'm always about taking action. What can you do if this is happening? Do you have ideas and suggestions? Please share them in the chat below so that people can see what these are. Okay. I will finish this very quickly, and my special guest has arrived. He's in my waiting room, my number two, and he may have a different list. So we will ask him what that list is of the three biggest distractions that he finds is pulling kids away or parents' interactions. My number two is work related stress and overcommitment. Don't we sometimes have this pressure to be consistently available for work, especially with remote work and digital connectivity? Can you lead and not, well, prioritize your job and at the same time find a balance with your children so that you can support them so it does not hinder their development and their secure attachments that they need with you? And there's also the parental stress and burnout, the big elephant maybe in the room. High stress levels and burnout can cause parents to become emotionally unavailable. We're just at the ends with, we can't do it. I went through this quite a few times during my life with my beautiful children, and leading to decrease sensitivity and responsiveness to our children's need when this happens. I'm not pointing a finger, I'm just naming it, mentioning it. You can look within, take a deep breath, and see. And this emotional exhaustion can negatively impact our children's emotional regulation and social development. So let's see. Let's bring in Doyle, who is here. Welcome, Doyle. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Christine and everyone. Thank you so much again for inviting me. Sorry about I was having some technoference of a different kind.
Oh, yes, technoference. I like how you grabbed that word. It's a beautiful word,
I,
isn't it?
Thanks for sharing that. That's an amazing word. There's a lot in there. I'm going to have to journal on that one or something to really absorb that. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so I just want to introduce you quickly. So you're a dad of three, and you're here to share how being present is key to connection with your family. And before I have you do that, what are your three biggest distractions that you feel parents are being pulled away from their kids without maybe even realizing it, right?
Right, right. I've been thinking about that, and these are not the distractions themselves that I'm going to share, but they're the context or maybe some
Mm,
of the reasons for the distractions. And
excellent.
first on my list was a lack of clear intention,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When I leave work and
Mm,
I pull in the driveway or get off the train or get to the door,
yeah.
do I have a clear intention to be present when I step through that door? Or at my age with adult children, when I go meet them for coffee or I go help them with something, do I have a clear intention
Mm,
about why I'm why I'm doing this? Well, it's because I love my kids and I want to connect. And then what am I doing?
mm,
Right? My number one job, whatever else might be going on, whether it's coffee or me helping them clean their apartment or whatever the thing is, the I'm there to be
mm.
there,
Yeah.
right? And the second piece then
And
is
I just add to just be there in our bodies, present with our ears open to
yes,
hearing those little issues that they might bring up that they don't quite dare to sometimes, right? That too is can be very, very important for them. Or sometimes it's just listening to them attentively.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. Keep going. This is
yeah.
very
And then
interesting.
the second piece is lack of mindfulness. And
Mm,
by mindfulness, I define that as keeping our mind full of something. And in this case, it's keeping my mind full of that clear intention, right?
yeah.
And, in the course of a hour coffee visit or whatever, this mind can be run run amok, right?
Yeah.
Especially, and as you can tell, I'm a little bit older, so I have adult kids. If some kind of, and well, I said especially, this is true for all of us as parents. When some tension comes up with the kids, maybe it's in our relationship, or it could be maybe, for instance, one of my kids is going through a hard time with something,
Mhm.
and that kind of tugs on my heart.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not careful to be mindful of my clear intention to be present, then I might go into trying to fix it mode
Hmm.
or trying to escape the tension, right? Or change the subject, that
Yes.
type of thing. So to be mindful, no, I'm here to be here. And
Yeah.
then thirdly, what you touched on, Christine, is the failure to embody love. And what I mean by that is
Mm.
we as parents and dads pay attention because we I think we forget this a little bit more often than moms may tend to, but our very presence, our loving presence, is one of the most valuable things we can
Mm.
give to our children. My dad, uh, for a variety of reasons, worked two, sometimes three jobs. So I might get to sit at a very brief meal with him once a week.
Yeah.
That was the entirety of my childhood and through my college years when I would come home to visit. Um, I wrote a poem years ago called, or starts, There's a Hole in My Soul, the
Mm.
shape of my dad, the
Mm.
dad I wish that I had had.
Mm.
And so, dads, let's
And can
not,
I just interject because I love that, and that is so, so important, and it is important because not to blame, shame, or make wrong anybody here, but just to say, "Hey, am I that dad?" And it's okay to work. But I wanna ask you, Doyle, what when you were was that time precious? And was your dad fully present in that one time a week that you had with him?
great question. Generally, no, he was exhausted. And so he was either just getting out of bed, sit down, have the meal, go to work, or vice versa, coming in from work, sit down, have the meal, go to bed.
And so this explains your poem,
Yes.
right? If at least in that 1 hour or half hour a week that he was with you, if he had been able to be to choose to be mindfully present, to have a clear intention, to be with you and just you, even though you're eating, you can eat and be present. There's no way,
Right.
you know, instead of being exhausted and your mind still being at work. And I understand some of us need to have three jobs, and that's okay.
Right.
But what I'm saying is be 100% present best you can when you're there with them, especially if you work a lot.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
beautiful
And
share.
my heart, uh, well, I started to say I'm retired. I'm actually doing a different business now, but I have time now that I didn't have when my kids were young, and my former wife and I were trying to, earn a living and raise a family and all the things. So, dads, those of you who are, working full time, maybe working two jobs, sometimes some of you may be working three jobs, and
Yeah.
maybe your wife or partner is working two jobs. I my heart is full of compassion for you
Yeah.
because that is so hard. But like
Mhm.
Christine said, as best you can, it goes back to the intention.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'm going to sit down at the table with my kids, have this meal. Besides just feeding my face, what can my intention be?
Yeah.
Okay, look at them like you were saying earlier. Let's put away any devices
Yeah.
and let's really be here together. And even just the eye to eye contact,
Yeah.
it feeds their hearts,
Mm.
right? Feeds their hearts. So you're be aware that yes, you have the responsibility to earn a living and help provide for the kids. And what you provide is not just clothing, food, and shelter. You provide heart, soul, if you want to use that word.
And and sometimes when we get caught up in the fast wheel and the fast track, we forget about what is the most important, and being present. I've helped many children and parents and adults, and it always comes back to that little boy or that little girl inside of us that got hurt is the reason why we're stuck today, or is the reason why we we can't move forward, or we can't take decisions, or whatever our issue is that we're oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I have to take this call, so can you continue, Doyle? I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet. So, yeah, dads, as I was saying, so very important to just try to be as present as you can for your children. And a lot of that goes back to being present for yourself. So when you're on the job, are you really there, being mindful of your clear intention to do good work and to excel as best you can to provide well for your family? And then again, when you do have some time with the children and with your partner or spouse, right? Do the best you can. And I know sometimes you're probably thinking, man, I don't have 1 ounce of anything left in me right now.
Mhm.
What I would offer or suggest is that you probably have more than you think, right? And it takes a certain discipline, I guess, to learn how to tap into it. And as you get better and better at that mindfulness, remembering your intention to really be present, to be the presence of love, you'll find that you can do it. And again, take try to take time, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. I don't know of anybody who can't just take 5 minutes a day to just sit quiet and just love on yourself, whatever that might look like. Enjoy a good cup of coffee, or just pay attention to, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I can breathe. I have another client whose dad just got seriously ill very suddenly a couple weeks ago, found himself on a ventilator.
Mm.
And my client, was relaying the story to me, and I got to thinking how precious life is to be able to just breathe on our own, right? So just 5 minutes, just think about, wow, my arms and hands are working if they are, my legs are working. Just go
Yeah.
through your body and just be grateful for all the pieces and parts that are still working. Or something as simple as that.
Yeah.
That will fill up that love tank, that or replenish it so that you'll have some to give.
I love that. And why not show this to your children? If you
Mm.
have younger children, and like, what if we had Byron come in and talk about, I still can't remember what that technique's called, but it's okay. It had to do with nature. I think it was called biometrics. No, it wasn't called that. Anyway, I'll look it up and know for next time I want to talk about it. However, like, what if you go to the park where there's a tree? Even if you're in the city, there's trees or there's shrubs, and breathe. Bring your child to breathe with you. Say, I need a moment. How do you feel when you look at this beautiful shrub and you breathe in? You know, how do you feel when you're oh, let's look under a rock and and see what we find. But you can I know 5 minutes might not be enough for younger children. That's where you need the snap tap zap to get them out of there and come back. But it's these little moments that we can create that our children will remember in their hearts and where they feel the love. Or if we're just doing it while we're holding them, they will feel that. And that's a beautiful gift. While you are resourcing yourself, having your cup of coffee, whatever it is, a cup of tea or your ice cream, and you're just breathing consciously, that can be so. I love nature, so I always like to connect things to nature. So if you can, or if you don't like nature at all, find a way. Another really cool trick that I used to use a lot was when I was exhausted on Friday was playing doctor. They were the doctor, and I would lay down and have a 2 minute nap while they figured out what was wrong with me. But that 2 minute nap felt so good, you know?
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
So it's be creative. Allow I mean, it may seem silly. Why would you want to lay down? But it gives me a break. My body gets a break. It's just like, whew, okay. And then I can get up and continue with the Friday evening, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because you talked about resourcing ourself.
Mhm.
And that find a way to add some resource to yourself. Yes, for
Mhm.
sure. Excellent. So the next thing I had on my list was how Snap Tap Zap helps you stay present even on busy days. So the parents that have been following or grandparents or dads, those beautiful dads who really want to shift the way things have been to a new kind of way of being where there's more harmony, more inner peace, more wisdom, more mindfulness, more in clear intention, right? And what was the other thing we said? More presence. One thing that works really well for me is to snap, tap as I breathe in, fill my body with breath, relax the shoulders, and blow that onto the spiraling train that will take away the stress, the overwhelm, whatever the emotion is. The I need to get onto my to-do list could be something you blow onto there. I'm just going to pause it, put it on the shelf for 5 minutes while I spend 5 minutes with my child. And that really helps my whole nervous system just calm down and relax. So enjoy doing that whenever you want. You can go to the tree, you can play the doctor, you can just do it from the mind as Doyle is sharing with us. Excellent. So, why do you suggest just 5 minutes to of focused attention?
Great question. And you and some of your guests, I'm sure, could answer this way better than I can. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I've read a few things and practiced a few things.
Okay.
When I teach, excuse me, when I teach mindfulness,
Mhm.
one of the first things people will object to is, "Oh, I don't have time to meditate."
Ah,
And right, it's like, okay, let's calm down here. I'm not asking you to, go live in a cave on a mountain, right? And here's what we do. Follow me. Take 3 mindful breaths, and
Maybe
you
we
do
can
it.
do it together. What do you think, Doyle?
That
So that they
sounds
can
great.
practice it and experience it, and then maybe it'll be easier for them to implement it, right?
Sounds good.
Okay,
So
I'll follow you along.
Okay, so what we'll do is if you're able, uh, where I live in the Pacific Northwest in the U.S., it's allergy season, and so breathing in through the nose can be a little challenging. But if you can, inhale through your nose, and we're going to hold it for a beat or two, and then exhale through your mouth. It's really effective if you exhale like you're blowing out a candle.
Okay.
Okay. So inhale, nice deep breath, and hold and exhale. Okay, that's one. Do it again. Inhale, hold, and just feel the aliveness of the breath. And exhale, blow out the candle. And one more time. Inhale, hold, and feel the body. And then exhale. Okay, that maybe took 1 minute. And in that time, if you were experiencing any anxiety or worry or tension, the oxygen and the taking the time to be mindful, pay attention to your breathing, reset your adrenaline and your cortisol, the hormones that get you into fight, flight, freeze mode, right? Resets those, lowers them, and it brings your uh, logical brain. If you were feeling a lot of worry and tension, your logical brain goes offline because you're worrying. That brings the logical mind back online so that you can think clearly. Have you ever been upset and heard yourself say, I can't even think straight right now. I'm so upset, right? Well, with 3 mindful breaths, now you can think straight.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much for guiding us through this so that dads can transform their relationship with their children, with themselves first, right? Always with yourself first. Fill yourself with self love. Calm that amygdala, which you were talking about. I use the word amygdala. You use the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, but it calms that back so that you can think with the logical mind. And for me, that's with the tapping that happens on the meridian point. It sends a signal to the brain saying, I am safe. So when you feel safe, then you can go to the logical mind. And there are many, many different ways. We've had many guests bring their wisdom to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. And I'm really excited because there's not one best way. There are many different amazing ways to self regulate ourselves and bring us back to the present moment so that we can be at our utmost best. So, thank you so much, Doyle. It was such a pleasure to have you and share these little tidbits of insights. And if anybody wants to connect with Doyle, I will put his information in the information under the live, after the live, or in the chat so that you can connect with him. But I had met him on Alignable, so you can find him there for sure. And I'd like to ask you before I go, what's one way you can be more present today? So I'd love for you to share that in the chat. Thinking about it. If you're like, I don't know, there's too much, it's okay. Breathe in and keep that question top of mind until something pops up for you. Because sometimes in the moment, we just do not have the answers, and it's okay. However, if you're here because you want to transform your relationship with your children, with your spouse, even maybe your colleagues at work or friends or relatives, this is important. In my opinion, obviously. I don't think there's just me that has that idea, right, Doyle?
Right, that's for sure.
So, thank you so much, Doyle, for being here. And thank you, everyone who showed up for the ripple effect of love. I'm looking for the button here. I'm getting there. Oh, and I've got a cute picture here from the Snap Tap Zap so that children can to help as a little memory visual memory. I'm trying to take this off, but I don't know which one it is. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Always looking on a scale of 1 to 10 how you can do this. And take great care of yourself. If you need to get a hold of me, here's my information. And I will see you tomorrow, Thursday, for another episode